All right, good afternoon, everybody. See a few attendees still joining in. We're going to give it a few moments here before we begin and let the rest filter on in. All right, I haven't seen the join number change, so we'll go ahead and get rolling here. All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Josh, software support engineer for MzeroManage for the Personnel Management Kiosk. So we're going to go ahead and start. All right, so what are we talking about today? So we're talking about the Personnel Management Kiosk and its integration with MzeroManage cloud software. So a little bit of backstory on the kiosk. This is a temperature taking device. This kiosk has a thermal imager in it that will take the temperature of the individual standing in front of the kiosk. It also has the ability to do a facial recognition. So if you indeed want to keep your employees' faces or your students for accurate facial recognition to be able to track their scans and ensure someone's taking their temperature, this unit will do that. A couple different variations of the models we feature here. So we do have the traditional pedestal stand, which is about your average adult height. Average adult height, someone wants to come and scan in, boom, you've got a pedestal version right here. We do have a version with an additional LED. That additional LED just features a colorful ring that can either be red or green for a good or a bad temperature, or you can change it to a monochrome white just to signify that an event has taken place and you don't have to advertise that someone had a good or a higher temperature than expected. There is a countertop version. If you plan on maybe moving the unit around, it's not going to stay up front. It's going to go here. It's going to go there. That type of deal. Then we have a very easily movable and maneuverable countertop unit available for you to purchase for your PMK. All right, and so then also we have the wall mount. So if you need to keep it up off the floor, floor space is an issue, etc., etc., then that for sure would be a very good unit to have. Mount it to a wall, get it out of the way. It's not taking up floor space. And then the child height for those in educational facilities. And actually, I've heard quite a few good things about these child height ones when it comes to individuals in a wheelchair or a mobility scooter or a walker. Some senior living centers and senior living facilities have mentioned, customers have actually mentioned the child height are very useful, not only for children in elementary grade school sized or height kids, but for lack of better words, anybody in a wheelchair who might be just a little bit vertically challenged, the child height unit seems to be a great match for them. All right, so we mentioned MzeroManage and its relation to um, the PMK, the Personnel Management Kiosk, the temperature taking device. So what does MzeroManage do for the PMK? Well, consider the scenario. You have a large facility, maybe you have a campus. Let's pretend you're at Meridian University, and Meridian University has several buildings. It's a very large campus. There's, you know, numerous acres of people there. You have 10, 15, 20 kiosks deployed across your campus. Well, in the old days, if you needed to access the information on that kiosk, the scans, the temperature data, etc., you would indeed have to go around to each individual unit and extract that data. So if you've got 15 units, that's 15 trips you're making around campus daily, weekly, multiple times a day. It's not going to work. And I understand that. I wouldn't want to have to go to 15 or 20 kiosks myself multiple times a day and extract some data off a thumb drive. So MzeroManage gives you the ability to link those devices in your realm, in your domain, to link those devices to this cloud platform and have one centralized location to log into pull the reports, add employees, onboard, etc. So when you think about having even one kiosk that's all the way across your facility, this is even beneficial for that. This can keep you on top of your data. Multiple users can access it at one time. It makes life easier when you're trying to track and log and see what's going on with some of these scans and individuals, because we all want to get back to work. We all want to get back to normalcy, and we want everybody to do so in a healthy and timely manner. So MzeroManage can help you stay on top of those temperatures and screenings. I mentioned the features and capabilities of it, so touched on a lot of these, so I'll go down the list here and elaborate as needed. Facial recognition. So for sure, if you need it to do facial recognition, you can upload a list of your employees or your users or your students, and you can create a profile for them to have a record of their scans, their temperatures, to log the temperatures. If you don't want a numerical value associated with it, you can do a pass-fail. So it will just say they had a temperature under the threshold or they had a temperature above it. It can send you an email alert or a desktop notification on your desktop if your browser supports it. Individual scans in. The scan is determined as being above the threshold for a safe temperature. Whomever is subscribed to the email alerts will get an email notifying them that there's been a high scan. You can check and see the scans in relatively real time. The most I've ever seen it would be about 2 to 3 seconds, in some cases maybe 5 or 6 seconds on slower networks, and if your ISP is just having a bad day that day as far as network throughput. Checking to see if they're online. When was the last time they connected to the server? When was the last time they were online and pinging the back end, so to speak? Being able to change settings in the application on the device from the website without having to track down your keyboard and mouse and walk up to the unit and interface with it. The dashboard portal, which I'll show you a little example of that here in a second, which is kind of that real-time scan. And then the kiosk groups, you can group the kiosks, multiple locations, multiple users, multiple permission sets. Kiosk groups is a surefire way to get that accomplished. And then last, with MzeroManage cloud software, if you're a little weary of leaving information on the device, there is an option with the ability for you to switch off local storage, and it will instantly push the scan to the cloud, and then it will be off of your device. So it will just be in the cloud. So I mentioned the facial recognition. Now, if you are going after the facial recognition, if this is a turning point, this is a key point for you in purchasing the software and using the hardware as well. A couple things to know. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about this picture right here. This is a prime example of what a good facial profile picture looks like. If you've ever done photography before, you're familiar with the rule of thirds. So you'll see that the top to bottom, the photograph is divided into thirds, and left to right, the photograph is also divided into thirds, giving me 9 grid squares, or rectangles in this case. So the biggest thing to take away from this is we need to see a neck, we need to see a chin, we need to capture ear to ear and the top of the head to the bottom. Profile pictures should not have masks or hats on. If you do have long bangs, if you've got the very big bangs, ladies, even guys with some long hair, we do advise you remove the bangs from the face. We need to see as much of this area as humanly possible. That's going to give you the best result. I'll mention the sizing too. There's nothing wrong with about a 1200 pixel tall by 800 pixel wide image. It doesn't have to be super high quality. Go out and buy a DSLR camera and shoot an ISO and spend $10,000 on a lens. Not at all. Computer webcam will suffice as long as it fits this format, as long as it is cropped. So talk about the zip file in a second. It has to be a JPEG or a PNG, portable network graphic. Those are the only image types supported. We do need it to be under 500 kilobytes. So again, it doesn't have to be a large image size in file size, as well as pixel size. So we don't really need a super high resolution photo as long as it's clear enough to see the face and it's aligned in such a manner as you see here. Face must be 2/3 of the entire photo area. It goes without saying, this is definitely over 2/3 of the photo area. Tilt, angle, pitch. No glamour shots. For instance, some of the old school family photos you might have done with your family or kids, where you sit down, your body's facing one way, and they have you rotate or tilt your head off to the side. You're kind of looking over your shoulder. That just does not play well with the facial recognition algorithm. Same thing with having your head tilted to the side. We definitely need it to be upright as possible, looking straight forward into the lens of the camera or whatever device you're using to capture the image. As plain and nondescript a background as you can get. It doesn't have to be white, doesn't have to be blue. Obviously, I would not want you to take a photograph in front of a paisley print or in front of a very colorful and vibrant and busy design heavy wallpaper. If you can get a plain flat gray or industrial yellow wall, something along those lines is going to be the best format for the picture. The device itself, the facial database at this time cannot exceed 20,000 individual faces or images. So if you have more than 20,000 employees that you would need to add to the system, there's a couple of things we could do to work around that. But as far as this webinar, all intents and purposes are concerned, 20,000 photographs are the limit. So I'm going to talk about the zipping here on the next slide after the video library. We're going to table that for a second. Talking about the video startup resource library. So I want to make a mention, if you haven't already purchased a hardware unit, or if you have a hardware unit and you're on this webinar because you're thinking, well, maybe I do want M0. You want it, it's good. Check out the knowledge base. So if you're actually on the meridiankiosks.com website, if you're looking, I'll do this in real time with you here too, you will see the menu bar across the top of the screen, kiosk, software, solutions, temperature screening kiosk. Under the temperature screening kiosk, I urge you to check out the frequently asked questions, that's FAQs, and the resources. The resources is chock full of help desk articles, pages about the wiring diagram, how this works, how that works, some reference materials for the unit itself. It's definitely a great resource to have. You for sure are going to want to check out the resources and the FAQs. The videos, all those links are in there. So that's the Meridian Kiosk website. Look for the temperature screening kiosk and then click on that. And while you're on the website, pop around and look at some of the other solutions. There might be another kiosk in there that we can provide you that I haven't mentioned in the webinar. So by all means, take a look at that. We've got some great products. We've got some excellent interactive designs, digital signage, more beyond just the personnel management kiosk. All right, so talking about MzeroManage, there's really two portals that you as an end user are going to interface with. The first one is my Manage Server portal. This is probably more for our technical users, especially whoever is setting this up in your organization. This is going to be step one. It's going to be the first thing that you do when it comes time to get your PMK, your Personnel Management Kiosk, online and connected. The MzeroManage personnel server is more for the end user who would be pulling the reports or adding the employees or monitoring the dashboard for individual scanning in. So this portal here is where you would add your kiosks, where you would configure your groups, set up your group permissions, etc., and where you would essentially set up your email alerts, because I mentioned the email alerting is definitely one of the major keys that people want to jump on this platform for, which I can 100% agree with that. And then we talked about the managed view. The managed view, this is our end user. And I got a treat for you today. We're going to do a live test. So let me switch my screens over and we're going to actually interact with MzeroManage view right now together. Let's see here. All right, so I got my screen back up. So here you can see me testing a few things earlier today. Ignore my silly face. It seems to always catch me when I have an odd look on my face or I'm talking to someone. So I'm standing up here in my lab and I'm going to actually scan in right now. So it just took my temperature. It just took my face scan. It identified me, and then we should see. Oh, I can get back my mouse. I lost my mouse. So we should see it pop up here in a second. So there we go, right there. So that's my scan. Again, I look scared and concerned. I apologize. That was it's not the intention. But yes, so here you go. This is your dashboard view. I can pop up here and I can take a look at it. Let's see if we can't trigger a fail. I've got a pretty hot monitor behind me here on the wall. I'm gonna see if I can't get it to detect it. Oh, okay, so we've already got a alert across here. I got a alert here, and I also got an alert in my email. So I'll show you an example of that. So right here you can see I actually received several emails today from testing, and I got to turn the unit because it's seeing my face and it's trying to read me sitting here showing you guys this example. So I got an email alert letting me know what time and where this scan occurred. If I click the Google Chrome notification that shows up on the desktop, there was a couple. There's one that showed up through Windows that you couldn't see because that monitor's not being shared to the screen right now. But trust me, it was there. And this alert here, if I click it directly like it just did, it will actually take me to this scan. So if I have my full name in here and I had all this other information, I would be able to see, oh my God, Joshua's got 102.9. And I could hop on my walkie-talkie and I could tell the front door staff, get him isolated, have him go to the doctor, et cetera, et cetera. So we talked about the entry report. So the entry report right here would be for anybody who scanned in today. Go back to it, and let's see. So I can sort. I can get the ability to sort by employee ID, pass, fail, their name, et cetera, et cetera. Let's say you don't like looking at pretty stuff. Well, we can export this as a CSV file. That is not a problem. Not a problem at all. If you like CSV, if you're a data wizard, if you want to play with the numbers yourself, by all means, export your entry reports. It could be today, it could be last week. You could set a custom date range. Just nice, pretty interface here. Same thing with doing default settings. So changing settings, putting a logo, doing a volumes, controlling the volume of the device. So if you don't want that alarm ringing and singing out really loud and scaring everybody, you can adjust that right here. And then my device's actual volume has been overwritten change. You do get a little bit of kiosk interaction here. So if we go out here, we can see I'm able to synchronize my face settings. So all my faces, I'm able to reboot the application. Now, it does not reboot the device as in a full power cycle, but it will relaunch the application if for some reason you think something's stuck or you're just one of your daily routines is to restart everything. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you got a door guard or if it's interfaced with an access control system, you can, that's me doing a relay sound. You get some free sound effects with today's webinar. So that will actually allow you to pop the lock on the door if you're interfaced with that. Personnel, you would add people through here. You would actually be able to do a bulk upload. So this is where I mentioned the bulk upload zip file. You would prepare a CSV comma separated values form using your favorite CSV editor. If you're old school, you could do it with a notepad, or you can use Excel and export it. Not a problem, it's up to you. And essentially you would gather all your photos for your employees or your students, whomever you're interfacing with every day. And you would name the individual's photograph their personnel ID or their VIP ID. So what we call the employee number, so to speak. So you would actually say, Jim is employee ID, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I have a photo of him, I would name it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.jpg or .png. I would place it into a zip file, and then from there I would add my zip, I would add my CSV, I would click submit. The functions will do their function, and then lo and behold, you would actually start to get some employees added without having to go through and name, age, enter, email, VIP ID, choose a file, hit submit, and then go on to the next one. You could, over time, build your data set. All right, so a nice little live demonstration for you guys today. We're going to keep going on. So that's MzeroManage view. So that's one that we can do a nice, pretty overview of. It's one we can do some demos with. The server side, well, I've already added my kiosks and made my groups and set up my permissions. So that would take a little bit longer, and I don't want everybody to be sitting there watching me type numbers in. So let's talk about support and onboarding. For anybody that has already purchased M0 license, this can apply to you too. So we have an onboarding for new customers that's available through your reseller, distributor, etc. Totally up to you if you want to purchase it. What does onboarding do? Onboarding gives you an hour of uninterrupted, unadulterated interaction with a member of the support team and the staff and the onboarding team. So you can actually sit down with a member of our team for an hour and then go through setting it up, work out any kinks or bugs or questions you might have, or if you just say, hey, can you help me take a look at this CSV file, or what are some good settings to set? What do you recommend? Is there, it just gives you that hour to go through the software, any questions, work on alignment and other features of the device. So that's the onboarding package. Now there is a 20-minute training session. You can buy these in a 20-minute session. You can get multiple. You can spread them out. This is more designed for the hardware in regards to going through the hardware itself. How does it work? What does this mean? Excuse me. Yes. So more interacting with the hardware, the kiosk stand. If you have questions about that, if you're an MzeroManage user, you can do the 20-minute training session. That's up to you. It will be limited because in 20 minutes, if you haven't set up your devices, if you haven't done anything like that, then for sure that might eat up a good chunk of that time in that 20-minute window. Then we talk about the support sessions. Excuse me, the support tiers. So with the purchase of your PMK device, the physical device, and not only the software, you get an online email and phone support 8 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, weekdays excluding national holidays. So out the box, you're getting a pretty standard support package for sure. Then we have our PMK Select. So PMK Select does offer everything that the standard does, or online or email and phone support, but it gives you a 60-minute of after-hours support per year, all weekdays, excluding holidays. And if you have RMA, you do get return ground shipping. The premium is essentially the exact same thing, but instead of 60 minutes, you'll get 120 minutes of after hours support. And of course, that's everything except holidays and weekends. The Premium Plus package, I know it sounds like we're at a gas pump here, but no, the Premium Plus package offers the email, online, phone support, 120 minutes of after-hours support, holidays and weekends, included 2-day shipping per unit. So if you have 1 unit, you need 2-day shipping, it's covered. 48-hour dispatch time on head unit replacements, and a standard on-site tech visit, which can cost a minimum of $200 without the package. So that is a pretty decent package. Now, for pricing and more information on availability, please reach out to your distributor or your reseller. If they don't offer the support packages, that's fine. Please reach out to a member of our Meridian sales staff, sales at M0, that's MZERO.com, sales at M0.com, and let them know, hey, I've got some PMKs and I want to get some support packages. They will be happy to take that and run with it. All right. Well, that's the end of my main spiel here. Now, if you guys have any questions, I'll let you guys go ahead and start filling out those questions. I'm going to take a sip of water while you guys ask some questions, and we'll get to answering. All right, so we got a question here. Someone's joining a little late. Can you onboard using the kiosk, or do you have to use the web portal? Great question. So we are actually finalizing an update to the PMK software that will allow you. Now I'll say this clearly for everyone, for the people in the back. At this time, you will need to onboard individuals to the web portal. At this time, it behoove you to add everyone to the cloud, to the web portal, if you plan on using facial recognition. That being said, as soon as the update passes quality assurance and is packaged and finalized, there will be an update for the PMK. I'm hoping, I'm going to speak to it, that it will be available before the end of the month. That update will allow you to onboard directly at the kiosk and then transport that record, that employee database information, to the cloud. So right now it's cloud and out. Once this update is finalized and packaged, you'll be able to send employees from the device to the cloud, from the cloud to the device, vice versa, and you get that good two-way transit. That was something that the end users have asked for, and we are finalizing it to get it delivered. So coming very soon. As of now, web portal. Very soon, both. Let's see. All right, I'll give it a few more, about another minute or so here. Haven't had any other questions. We'll see if anything else pops up. All right, well, I haven't had any questions. Oh, here we go. Let me see what we got. Another one coming up here. Can you make the slide available after today's presentation? I can do you one even better. The same spot on the website that you signed up for the webinar, you can watch today's webinar. I think it takes about, 2 hours or so, maybe an hour and a half. This one won't be as long as the last couple. So the entire webinar, as well as webinars of times past, are available at the same spot on the website that you signed up. Just to be certain, if you go to meridiankiosks.com, you'll see temperature screening kiosk as a menu item. At the very bottom of that drop-down menu, you will then see webinars. under webinars, you will see webinar recordings. So those will be there for you to view. And let's see. All right, I'll give it one more go around. We'll see if we got any additional questions. Maybe you're typing. Give a few more seconds. All right, well, that is it. Got a couple people leaving, so we're going to take that as a clue. We're going to wrap it up. Again, my name is Josh, software support engineer for MzeroManage, Meridian Kiosks. We look forward to you guys joining again next week. Same time, same channel, same bat station. Tune in, and we'll catch you next time. Y'all have a great rest of the afternoon and an even better rest of the week and even better weekend. And Chris, you are very welcome. Y'all have a great one.